Okay, so today we will see and go through a topic called Bootstrap. So I guess most of you have heard about the word Bootstrap, but let's see what is it. Okay, so in simple words, if I say Bootstrap is a CSS and JavaScript library. Okay, mostly it is a CSS library, but it also includes many things which involve JavaScript in them. Okay, so so what is the meaning of library? So what does Bootstrap do? So what it does is, when I say it is a CSS library, that means it helps us to use CSS in a better way. Okay, so how does it help us to use CSS in a better way? For example, to create a page, to create a website, we are using CSS, isn't it? So where can you tell me where we are writing the CSS? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So the thing is, what we do is, hello. Yeah. So when we use a CSS library, what happens is, we don't need to write so much of CSS. Suppose if we don't use a CSS library, what we need to do is we need to write so much of CSS, so much of CSS properties we need to use. We need to write them in the style sheet or whatever it is. But if we use a library like Bootstrap, what we need to what we reduce is, we don't write so many properties. What happens in Bootstrap is, we already have some classes. So they have already made some classes. So you just need to use those classes in your website or project. Okay, so you just need to apply those classes in your HTML elements, and automatically those styles get applied. Okay, so the thing is, if you don't use a library, sorry,
Screen కనిపించడం లేదు సార్.
are you able to see the screen, this red screen?
Yeah, red screen okay, sir.
Yeah, that's what I'm not sharing anything, I'm just saying.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so what happens is, when we use this library, what happens is, suppose we are not using a library, then what we do, we use a class, and using that class we apply some styles, isn't it? So when we use a CSS library, so at that time we just apply the class and automatically the styles get applied. Okay, So if we go to the website, so let's see first, what is this? How do we apply this Bootstrap in our project? Okay, so here in the docs, yeah. So let me do one thing. First, let me create a project. So what are they saying? In the quick start, they're saying that create a new index.html file in your project root. So first, let me do that. Okay. So so this is Bootstrap. Yeah. Okay. So I'll create a file here. So let's say index.html. Okay. Yeah. So in the index.html, so if this is our main page, what will be there? We'll have one HTML tag. Inside that we'll have a head tag, and after the head tag we'll have a body tag. That's it. Okay. Now, so in the body tag, now I don't have anything. I will add it later on. But before that, we need to know how do we add Bootstrap to our project. Okay. So first, you see, first what we need to do is in the head tag, we need to have this thing. Okay. So what is the meaning of this? When we use Bootstrap, we are using Bootstrap means we are making our project responsive. So what is the meaning of responsive? If you see this website, how it is looking like when it is full screen, in the full screen mode, it is looking like this. But if let me show you, did you notice something has changed? When I resize the window, something has changed. When I keep on resizing, it is changing. Can you see? The menu has disappeared. So the things are adjusting according to the device width. Okay. So this is known as a responsive behavior. Okay. So for responsive behavior to be applied, we need this line. Meta name equal to, so this is the meta tag. We need this meta tag. Name equal to viewport, content equal to width, width equal to device width, initial scale equal to 1. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll include this line in our project. Okay, fine. Now what is the next step? So after adding this line, we need to use some CDN. So okay, now there is a thing. So we have seen that we can use CSS in different ways. In the same way, Bootstrap can also be used in many different ways. Okay, the simplest one is by using CDNs. I'll talk about CDN. Then we have something like we can install it as a npm package, that is a node package. Okay, but now what we'll do is we'll go with the CDN because that is the easiest way for us. Okay, we don't need to know anything about npm and all those things. Okay, so what happens here is, what are CDNs? CDNs are like, these are some links. Okay, from these links, so if you see this link, what is happening? So this is the link for the CSS. So I'll just copy this link and I'll try to open this in a tab, so I can see I'm getting so many different CSS styles. Okay, so what happens is when I use these CDNs, automatically these styles are fetched and these can be applied in our project. Okay, So in this URL, the styles are there. So you don't need to install anything or some import anything. Just automatically this link will help you use the CSS styles. So what do you need to do? You need to use this important link. Okay. So this link, we need to put it in the head section. So in the head, just after the meta tag, I'll put it. Okay. And one more thing is needed, because so today we will not go into JavaScript based Bootstrap items. So we have some components which use JavaScript. We will only work on CSS based utilities and helpers today. Okay, but even then we need the JavaScript later on, so I'll add it now itself. Okay, so this is the link, this is the serial link for the CSS. Now we have this link for the JavaScript part for components to work properly. So this link, we can paste it in the head itself just after this, but it is better to paste it in the body tag at the end of the body tag. Okay, so let's say I have a h1 tag here, something I wrote, then I have some paragraph tag, I wrote something, but at the end the script tag should be there. Okay, like this at the end of the main body. So I'll remove this h1 and p for now, just to show you I did like that. So this is the initial setup for Bootstrap. This setup is enough for us to work on it. Okay, okay, fine. Now we can close this. We'll get to the website if we need. Okay, now what we need to do is, okay, now let me do one thing. Now we can start writing. So let me write something like let me put a heading tag h1. Okay, so in the h1, what I'll do is I'll write something, welcome to Bootstrap. Okay, so I'll just save it and run this file in the browser. So where is this line? Yeah, so this is the file. So I'm getting welcome to Bootstrap here. Okay, now we'll see one by one what are the things, what are the basic things. Today we'll see only the basic basic classes, basic utilities, and basic helpers. Okay, tomorrow we'll see some advanced utilities and advanced helpers, and later on we'll see some, we'll do some project. That means we'll create some beautiful interactive project using Bootstrap. Okay, okay, fine. So now let's start from the basics. So what do we have? So for example, we have something called containers. Okay, we have something called containers in Bootstrap. So how do I use those containers? I simply create a div. Okay, inside this div I put this h1. Okay, yeah, I put this h1. Now what I do is, in this div I apply a class called container. Okay, now let's see how this, so before it was looking like this, isn't it? Now if I reload this, let's see how does it look like. Can you see there is some gap here? There has some gap has come. Okay, so let's inspect this and see what has happened actually. So when I hover my mouse over the container div, we can see we are getting some margin from both sides, that is from left and right, and a little padding is also there. Okay, so what happens is, this container class is applying margin and padding from both the sides. So it is like a container. What it is doing, it will contain the whole body of the website, and it will have some spacing on both sides. Okay, so this is the basic container. So we need this container in every website, because if I don't use this container, it will look like this and it doesn't look nice, isn't it? So we need that container class. Okay. Now there is something else called container fluid. So if you see, this one is having only the padding, not the margin. Can you see? It is not having the big gap that we had in the container class. So container fluid is the same like container, but with no margin. Okay. So it will have only a small gap. So if you need only a small gap, you can use this container fluid. And so this is actually having width 100%. Okay. But container, that container is different. It will depend on the device width. If the device width is less, then the margin value will also change, like that. So many things are there. Okay. Now let's see what we have next. So let me use the container for now, not the container fluid. Okay. So container, oh sorry, yeah, container. Okay, fine, that is fine. Now let's see what we can do with this text. Okay, so what is this? This is actually a heading, isn't it? So in headings, this heading is looking very plain. That means this is the default heading that we are having. Okay, so this is not I mean, if we normally write a heading, it will look like this, but it is not something different. Okay, so what we do is we have some classes for headings to make it look better. Okay, so there's a class. Okay. uh, okay, so here we have something like heading 1. Oh, sorry.
H1.
Yeah, for headings, what we do is we have something called display -1. Okay, these come under headings, but the class name is not heading. So display -1. So now what will happen? Just see. So now normally it looks like this. If I reload the page, can you see? It is looking better. It is looking bigger. Okay, so the H1 is looking better now. So this is how you can customize your, and the font has even changed. Earlier the font was different. If you see, earlier the font was very plain, very too much bold, isn't it? So when I use this heading, this class called the display-1, so display-1 is for H1. So for H2 you can use display-2. For example, let me show you. H2, I write
ఏమనుకోకపోతే తెలుగులో చెప్తారా?
sorry, I don't know Telugu, so I don't speak it.
తెలుగు రాదు భయ్యా ఎవడగా. సారీ మేబీ అస్సాం. Excuse me, sir.
Okay, so for example,
Sir, this class is predefined class, sir.
sorry,
Display-1 is predefined class.
yes, predefined. This is working only because of Bootstrap. Okay, so this display-1 will not work in your normal that means if you don't use this CDN, without using this CDN, this display-1 will not work. Okay, this is working only because it is predefined in Bootstrap. Okay. Okay. Okay, so so let me use a H2. So best CSS library like that, and let me just display it in the browser. How does it look like? It is looking like this. It is again looking plain, isn't it? So here what I can do is I can again apply a class. So for the H2 we have something called display 2. Okay, so you can use display 1 as well. Then if you use display 1, what will happen? It will look the same even if it is it is an H2 element. It is not looking different. Okay, so if I put here display 2, it will become little bit smaller. Okay, so this is smaller than this. Like this you can use up to H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6 like that. Okay, fine. So this is about headings. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Let's say H4, and display will be 4. Okay, fine. This is fine. Now, so this is about headings. Now let's talk about paragraphs. Okay, so let me create a paragraph here just after the headings. Let me put a paragraph. And one more thing here, what happens is headings and paragraphs. So let me do one thing. Let me remove this. Okay, let me put a paragraph. So let me take some dummy text from somewhere. So for example, Bootstrap. Okay, let's go to the Wikipedia page and copy some text from there. So Bootstrap is a free and open source. This. Okay, let me copy this part and paste it here. And some more text I can use. Yeah, so this part also I'll copy it and paste it here. Okay, yeah, fine. So we have a big paragraph. Now let's save this and let me remove the this thing. Let me comment this CDN, Bootstrap CDN. So now Bootstrap will not work. Okay, now let's see how does it look like. So I reload it. It is looking like this. Okay, now let me show you one thing. If I inspect this H1, we can see what is H1 having. So now this display 1, display 4, container, nothing is working. Okay, so if I hover over this H1, we can see H1 is having some top margin, some bottom margin, isn't it? In the same way, H4 is also having some top margin and bottom margin. Okay, in the same way, the paragraph tag is also having some top margin and bottom margin. Okay, now let's see if I apply the CDN, that is if I apply Bootstrap in our project, what happens is the H1 is having only the bottom margin, the top margin is removed. So that is the default behavior of Bootstrap. What Bootstrap does is it removes the top margin from headings. In the same way, if you see, H4 is also having only the bottom margin. In the same way, paragraph tag is also not having the top margin, it is having only the bottom margin. So what Bootstrap does is, by default, it will remove the top margins of headings and paragraphs, and also it will reduce the bottom margin. Earlier, the bottom margin was very big. Now it is less because of Bootstrap. Okay. Okay, fine. Now let's get back to the paragraphs. So in the paragraph, again, there is one thing, the paragraph is again looking very plain. So what Bootstrap does is they have customized everything. That means the way the headings will look, the way the uh, paragraphs will look. Okay, they have customized everything. So now for headings, we have seen that we have the display -1, display -2, display -3, all those things. Okay, but just like that, we also have some class for the paragraph. Okay, So there's a class called lead for paragraphs to make it stand out. Okay, so let me show you. In the paragraph, we have a class called lead. Okay, so if we apply this lead class, what happens? Let's see. So now the paragraph has changed. The font has become lighter. Earlier it was too much, that was not bold. Actually, it is known as the font weight of the text. So the font weight was more. The same thing has happened with H1 and H4. The headings also, the font weight has become less. In the same way for the paragraphs also, font weight has become less. And can we see the font size? So font size has also changed. Okay, by default it is 10 px, now it is 16 px, now it is 1.25 rem. So that means the font size has increased. Okay, so this is how Bootstrap changes our headings and paragraphs. Okay, now what else is there? Now this text, this heading is at the top, and it is aligned to the left, isn't it? So we also have something for aligning the text in what it is called in our project. Okay, so in Bootstrap we have something for aligning the text as well. So let me do something. In the H1, along with the display one, I'll use text center. Okay, I'm applying this only to the H1. Okay, not for the H4. So I save this, go to the browser, reload. The text has come to the center. Okay, this is how we can align the text. Okay, so this is text center. Then so by default it is text start. Actually, when it is at the beginning, it is text start. And let's see for the H4 text end. If I apply, is it working? Yeah, so you can see this text has come to the right. So this is text end, text start, text center, and text end. Okay, so we don't need this, but I just wanted to show you. So I want my website to look like this. Okay, welcome to Bootstrap. In the center, the best CSS library at the starting or left, and the paragraph below. Okay, that's fine. Now let's see something called utilities. Okay, there is something called utilities in Bootstrap. So what these utilities do? These utilities help us. So utilities are also classes actually. Okay, but they help us in a better way. Here what was happening? Here only some basic things were happening. Okay, but now we'll see some more styling things. Here what was happening, whatever we did was just working on headings and paragraphs. But now we'll see some changes on styling, like colors, backgrounds, and all those things. Okay, so let's see first the background, how to change some background and all those things. Okay, so in this H4, okay, this H4, I will try to apply some background color. Okay, so what is the H4? This is the H4. So let me do something like display 4 is there, and I'll write bg hyphen primary. Okay, this bg is same, but we can change this primary keyword. Okay, I'll show you. Let me save this, go to the browser and reload it. What we got something like this. We got bg. When I apply bg primary, the H4 got some background. Okay, in the same way we have a lot of other background colors. For example, bg primary and then bg secondary is there. Okay, bg primary we got a blue type of color. BG secondary, what is BG secondary? It is a gray. Okay. Then then we have BG success. Okay. So this is green. Then after BG success, we have BG danger. What is BG danger? It is a red background. Okay. Then we have BG warning. It is of yellow color, yellow type of color. Then after BG warning, we have BG info. This is also a blue color, but this is a lighter shade than BG primary. Okay. Then we have BG light. So this is actually not white. It is, you can see here, it is a little bit gray color, but this is very light gray. Okay. So when the background is black or something, this will look nice. Okay. Then we have, instead of BG light, we can also use BG dark. So when so BG dark, what is happening? The text is not visible. Okay. So let me complete this background classes, then I'll show you how to change the font color as well. So for black background, we may want our text to be in white, isn't it? So we'll see that after we complete our background classes. Then after BG dark, yeah, that's enough. But there are some more classes like BG body, BG white, BG transparent. For those things, we need to set the color of body and all. Okay. So up to here, this is enough. Now let's see. Now let's get back to our BG primary. Okay. So what happens here? So we are having this thing, what it is called. The background is a blue color, but this text is not looking that much better, that much good in this blue background. I may want this text to be in a white color. Okay. So what do I do for that? So for that, we can use something like, we have some text utilities as well, text color utilities as well. So what I can do here is, along with the BG primary, what I can do, I can add another class like text light. Okay, BG primary along with that text light. So what will happen here? You can see the text color has become white and the background is blue. Okay, so this way you can match your font color with the background. If the background is light, then we can use a that is, we can use black text. But if the background is dark, like black or something, we can't use a black text. So let me show you now. Instead of BG primary, I'll use BG dark and save this and go to the browser. I can see now it is looking fine. Okay. When the background is black, we can put this. That is, this is the white text. Okay. Okay. So now let me show you what other text colors we can use. So let me remove this BG for now. So it will not have any background. Now BG text light is there. So that's why it is not able to, so we are not able to see it. So let me put text primary. Well, again, the same classes will be applicable here. Text primary will give us a blue text like this. Okay. So it's looking nice. Then after BG text primary, we have text secondary, just like the background classes. So text secondary will be gray color. Then again, text success will give us a green color. Okay, you can see it is green color. Then after text success, we have text danger. So again, it is of the red color. Then we had a text warning. We are using warning class. So warning is again yellow colored. Text info is there. This is light blue color, not dark like primary. This is little bit light. Then text light you have already seen, isn't it? And you can even use text dark, which is black, dark black kind of. Okay, this is not exactly black, but it is little bit different. Okay, fine. So these are the background and font color classes that we have in the utilities. So I'm talking about basic utilities. Okay, advanced utilities we'll see later on. Okay, now let's get back. So background and colors are done. Now we can see something more. So just like that, we have something like borders. Okay, we can apply borders to elements. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me create something here. We have the paragraph. Okay, so just after the paragraph, I'll create something. I can create one division. Okay, so or can we use it in our heading? Yeah, I think we can use it in our heading. Okay, so what I'll do is in the heading, I'll try to apply a border. Okay, on the paragraph only I'll apply it. Okay, fine, that will be better. So on the paragraph, what I can do is P class equal to lead was there. I'll apply one more class called border. Okay, so what will happen if we put it like that? You can see we got a thin border. Can you see in the paragraph we are getting a border? Okay, so we are having a border in the paragraph. So this is because of the border class, and it is not exactly, this is not black, this is some kind of gray colored border. Okay, so this is the default color they have set, the Bootstrap has set. Okay, so if we use border class, it will apply the border from all sides. Okay, now there are different variations in this border class. Okay, let me show you. So if I apply border hyphen top, what will happen? It will only apply the border on the top. Can you see? Only here the border has come. Okay, not from all the sides. Just like that, border end. Border end means only on the right side. So in Bootstrap, what happens is left is known as start, right is known as end. Okay, that's why when we were writing text end, the text was aligned to the right. If I write text start, it will be aligned to the left. Okay, so this is border end, so it is having only on the right side. Okay, fine. Then we have border start. So border start means only on the left. Okay, only on the left. Then border bottom. So what will happen? So in border bottom, it is getting only on the bottom. Okay, so if you want only on one side, you can use these border hyphen something classes like top, bottom, start, end. Or if you want from all sides, you can use the border class directly. Okay, so it will have border from all sides. Now the same things can be done in a different way as well. Okay, suppose you don't want any border, what you can do, you can just remove the border class, isn't it? But there are some other ways also. Let me show you. So let's say border hyphen 0. That means okay, we can't use it directly. We'll use first the border class, and then I write border hyphen 0. Okay, so now what will happen? Will not have any border from any sides. Okay, now let's say I want all the borders, but I don't want the top border. Okay, then what I'll do? Then I can write this border class needs to be there. Okay, but in the second part I will write border top hyphen 0. What will happen? Border top will be removed and other borders will be there. So see, border top is removed, but left is there, bottom is there, right is also there. Okay, so this is how border top 0 works. In the same way, border start 0 will remove the left border and other borders will be there. Okay, you can see it. Then border end 0. So what is border end 0? It will remove the right border. Okay, in the same way, border bottom 0 will remove the bottom border and it will have all the other borders. Okay, so this is how we can remove the one of the borders. Okay, so if you apply more classes like border bottom 0 and also border top 0, then what will happen, we'll have only the left and right borders. Okay, because I am removing the top and bottom, you can see we can have left and right, no top and bottom borders. Okay, this way you can add more classes to remove them. Okay, fine. So this is how these subtractive borders work. So these are known as subtractive because we are subtracting one of the borders. Okay, then comes border colors. Now again, the same type of classes will be applicable here. What we were using in the colors that we use for background color and text color. Okay, so I'll just write like this: border and then border primary. So what will happen here? Border space border primary. So this will have a blue border. Can you see? This is a blue border. In the same way, all the same colors. After border primary, we can use border secondary. This is a gray colored. Okay, dark gray colored actually. Then we have sorry. Then we have success. Border success is a green colored border. Okay. Then we have something called danger, which is a red colored border. Okay, then we have a warning border, which is a golden yellow colored border. Then we have something called info border. Info, this is again that light blue color. Okay, just like that. Like that we can have border info. So if everything is black, you can use border light, so it will become white. But here light will not work because everything is white, it will not be shown. So border dark is the black colored border. Okay, just like that you can use all those things. And we yeah, so that's about border colors. Okay, fine. Now so now we'll see some other styles. So these borders can be very useful because of this colors and also we have this adding and removing border utilities. Okay, so these things are very useful. Okay, then we have already seen the colors, isn't it? Text colors and all. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, now we'll see something called display. So let me create something like I hope you know about display inline, display block, display inline block, isn't it? So let me have something here. Let me have a span tag just after the paragraph. Okay, so after this paragraph I'll have a span tag. So inside the span tag I want to write something like are you enjoying Bootstrap? Okay, and what I will do is I'll reload this. Yeah, are you enjoying Bootstrap? This span, we know that span is an inline element, it is not a block level element. Okay, so what I'll do, along with this span, I'll put another span. And write keep enjoying. So what will happen now? They'll be placed side by side, isn't it? Because they both are inline elements. But by using CSS, in normally what we do is to this span, if I apply display block, this will become a block level element, and as a result, what will happen? Keep enjoying will come to the next line, because this, if this becomes a block level element, it will occupy the whole width of the viewport, isn't it? So instead of writing those CSS, we already have some classes which we can use here. So what I do is, to this span, are you enjoying Bootstrap? To this span, I can apply a class called d-block. That means D means display block. So what will happen now? You can see the are you enjoying Bootstrap has become a block level element. Okay, and this is still an inline element. Okay, now this is how we have converted an inline element to block level. The reverse can also be done. So for example, this span is not span, let's say this is one h4 or h5. Okay, so if it is h5, I'll remove this d block. So if it is h5, it is already a block level element, isn't it? Now to this block level element, I can apply d inline. That means display inline. So what will happen? It will become a inline element. It has become an inline element. So that's why keep enjoying is coming to the side of this. Beside this, it has come. Okay. So this way you can use d inline, d block, and also d inline block. D inline block will be something like this. Okay. Fine. So this is about display properties that we display utilities that we have in Bootstrap. Okay. Now let's see something called float. So we have already seen float in CSS. Using float, we can move something to the left, move something to the right, just like text align. But text align will not work. It will not work everywhere because it is intended to be used only for text, isn't it? So in some other places also it may work, but we should not use that. We can use a float or some other things like display flex or something. We'll see those advanced things later on, but let's see how this float is working. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me, okay, let it be like this only. Let me create a new thing. So let me have a div. Let me have 3 divs. Okay. So here I'll okay. So in this div, what I'll do is this div, I'll just enter some text. This div is okay. I'll just write left float. Okay. Then I'll have another called right float. Okay. And another thing called no float. Okay. So how these things are looking now? So these are looking like this: left float, right float, no float, because we have not applied any classes, so it is looking just plain. Okay. Now let me do one thing. I'll apply some class. Also, by default, everything is floating to the left, isn't it? So let me write something here. So left float means class is equal to, so we have a class called float start. Okay. So when I apply this float start, we can see it is floating to the left. Can you see? It has come here. Because it has come here to the top, because when we use float, it what it is called, it comes out of the element is taken out of the document, so that's why it is coming here. So let me remove this h5, but this is a good example to understand what is float, what happens when we use float. Okay, But anyways, I'll remove this. Yeah, now see, it has come here. Okay, it has come out of the document and it is floating to the left. Now let me write something here. For the right float, what I want to write is, I'll write float end. So what will happen now? It is floating to the right. Okay, and this no float, I can apply something like class equal to float none. Oh, class equal to float none. Okay, so there is no float. So by default, all elements are having float none applied to it by default, isn't it? So there is no float, so that's why it is coming just where it got some space. Okay, it is displayed there because this left float text is occupying some space here, so that's why it is not getting the space here and it is placed just beside it. Okay, so this is about float. We can use this float properties in many places, float utility, but there are some better alternatives to this. Okay, for basic some use cases we can use float, but it is better to avoid float styling wherever possible. Okay, fine. Now now let's see some more things. We have seen float. We can see something called opacity. So we already have opacity styling in the normal CSS. What we do is we create some div and we have some color, then we apply opacity. So let me try to create a div. Okay, so let's say not div, let me put one, because if I use div again I have to use height, width and lot of things. Okay, let me put something what it is called, one h2 or h3. Okay, in the h3 let me write something. Hey, I am back. Okay, to this h3 I'll apply a bg primary and text light or text white is also there, I think. Yeah, text white. Okay, hey, I'm back and the text is white. Okay, now let's see whether we can use the opacity classes here. If we can't use it, then we'll create a div, normal div. Okay, so now here what is there, we can use something like, so opacity hyphen 100 is the default value. Okay, so let me put opacity 75. So there are four values that can be used here. Okay, 100, 75, 50 and 25. So let's see. So now it is blue. When I reload the page, it has become lighter. Can you see? It has become lighter. When I remove this 75, it is normally dark, little bit dark. And when I apply 75, it has become lighter. And if I apply 50, it will become more lighter. If I apply 25, it is more lighter. Like this, you can apply 100, 75, 50, 25 and 0 as well. So if I put opacity 0, it will become totally transparent. Okay, we can't see it because the opacity is 0. Okay, so this is how you can use the opacity class for displaying things. Okay, now it is set at opacity 75. This is about the opacity class. So these utilities are very important. Okay, so just like that, we can see something called shadows. So in many things we can apply some shadows, isn't it? So let me show you some shadow classes. So how do we use that? So just after the h3, let me use some more H3 elements. So here, let me write something like Bootstrap is awesome. Okay, so it is looking like this. And let me apply that class equal to display 3. This become big. Now let me apply some shadow. So by default, when we have no shadow, that means this class is being applied by default, shadow none. Okay, so you can see there are no changes. Okay, then let me show you that just small how to add a small shadow sm. Okay, sm means small. So here we can see a small shadow has come. Can you see? Isn't it? Small shadow has come around the H3 element. Okay. Now, if I don't write SM, that is default shadow. Okay. Default size, that is little bit more than the shadow effect will be little bit more than SM. That is little bit more than small shadow. So if you can see, we have more shadow now. Okay. So like that. So just like that, we have shadow LG as well. So shadow LG is the biggest one. That means it will have the most shadow. So this is more. Okay. So normal shadow, shadow SM, and shadow LG. So small shadow, regular shadow, and large shadow. So these 3 shadow effects can be added. So I'll go with the normal shadow. The normal shadow is enough. Okay, fine. Now, just like so, these are the basic utilities. Now we'll see some. We have played mostly with colors and all backgrounds and all those things, isn't it? Now let's see some very basic things like sizing, spacing, like text size. Then spacing means margins and paddings. Okay, so we'll just work with basic elements now. Okay, let's go for the sizing. So now sizing means what it is, we have divisions. Okay, so in those divisions we can apply some width, like width we apply width 100%, width 50%. Okay, so these are the sizes of the container. That means these are sizes of the divisions. Okay, so let me create some division. So let me have a div. In this div I will apply some inline styles. Okay, or should I? Okay, no need. I'll have one class d1 and I'll have it here in the head tag. I'll have one style tag, style element. Inside the style element I'll have this. So what was it? D1, right? So D1, I'll apply some height. Height is, let's say, something like 60px. Okay, and width I will decide from the from Bootstrap. Okay, height 60px. Now what I'll do, I'll apply some background. So bg primary. Okay, and width, I want the width to be I want the width to be 100%. Okay, so I'll write here w100, bg primary w100, and a d1 class. Oh sorry, I have written d1 class, so I have to give you a dot. Okay, fine. Now, so what style this division should have? It should have a height of 60px. It should have blue color, that means bg primary color background, and the width should be 100%, isn't it? So let's see how it is looking like. It is looking like this. This is the blue. Okay, let me put here, instead of primary, let me put warning. Okay, fine. So this is the d1 division. It is having width as 100%. Now we can change the width as well. So instead of 100, So we have four values, W100, then we have W75. So that means 75%. Okay, now it is having 75% weight. In the same way, we can have 50% weight as well. 50% weight is half weight. Okay, then we have 25, W25 as well. So this is 25%. And if you want no weight, you can put W0 as well. Oh, sorry, W0 is not there. Okay, fine. So when we saw opacity, in the opacity 0 to 100 values were there, but in width we only have 25, 50, 75 and 100. Okay, four values. Okay, fine. So this is about width. In the same way, we can have the height classes as well. Okay, so let me apply some width here. Let's say W75, and now I'll create one more div. Okay, so let's say div. Here I'll put class equal to D2 and BG, let's say success, and width we will decide later on. So D2, let me specify this D2. So in this D2, I'll have some width. So width is, let's say, I'll put it 100% only. Okay, so it is 100% now. And height is H. Okay, W is width, height is H. So height is, if I put height 100%, what will happen? So it is having whatever space it is getting, it is taking all the space. Okay, for this BG success, it is having BG success, that means it is green color background. D2 width is 100%, so it is taking 100%. Okay, and height, it is taking total height, whatever is available. So if I put here 75, it will get reduced now. See, it is got reduced. Okay, then 50 will be 50% of the total space available. Then 25 will be 25% of the space available. Okay, this is how height and width utilities can be used. Okay, okay, fine. Then now let's see the margin padding things. So margins and paddings are known as spacing in Bootstrap. Okay, in the language of Bootstrap, these are known as spacing because they let us create space in between elements, inside an element, isn't it? So padding will create space inside an element. That means the space between the border and the content is known as padding, isn't it? In the same way, margin will help us to create space between two elements. Okay, so now let's see how do we apply those spacings. Okay, so let me create one H2. In this H2, we'll see, we'll write spacing utilities, in Bootstrap. Okay. And what I'll do here is we'll use a class, right? Display -2. Okay, so now let's see how this is looking like. It is looking like this, spacing utilities in Bootstrap. Okay, let me put a background color as well. So BG info and text white. Okay, so it is looking like this. It is having a light blue background and the text is white, but we can see the P is coming up to here and S is here. So we are not having any gap in between. That means we are not having any padding. Okay, so what we can do is we can apply some padding here. Okay, so how do we apply the padding? So we have P class P. Okay, so here what we can do is P-1. Okay, so what does this P hyphen and this, so instead of 1, what we can use, we can use 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0 means padding 0, padding 1 means little bit padding, that is around 0.8 rem or something. So P5 is the maximum. Okay, so let's see P1 how it is changing the display. So now we are getting some padding P1, but that is even not enough. You can see G is not up to the, so G is still sticking to the border, P is still sticking to the border. So we can increase more. P2, now again it will increase little bit. Okay, it has increased, but still we are not satisfied. We want more spacing. So P3. Okay, so this is looking little bit better than the previous one. Okay, so like this you can keep on increasing. P4, this is more. Okay, and P5 is the maximum. Okay, so P5 we are getting this kind of spacing, that means this kind of padding from all sides. Okay, this is the maximum. You can't use beyond P5. If you use P6 it will not work. It will again reset to the previous one. Okay, so P02, so if I use P0, again it will have 0 padding, just like the normal one what we were doing initially. So I'll use P5. Okay, so this is about padding. Now there are again different variations in this padding. So what are those? We are writing P-5, that means padding 5 from all sides. Okay, this is not 5px. Okay, padding P5 means what? You can see here P5 means padding 3 rem. Okay, so it is having padding 5 from all sides. But suppose I don't want padding 5 from all sides, I only want padding 5 at the top. So what I can do, PT-5. So other sides it will have 0 padding and top it will have 3 rem. So you can see only the padding top is applied. Left, right, bottom is not applied. Okay, the same way if I want only on the left, so left means start, isn't it? So I'll write PS5 will give you from the left, not from the top, top, bottom and right. Okay, suppose if I want bottom, then I can write PB. Okay, so from the bottom it is getting, and PE we can't see here because the text is very small. So we'll make the text more. Spacing utilities in Bootstrap. Okay, how to use spacing utilities in Bootstrap. Yeah, so now you can see PE5 is working. So let's say I wrote PS, then I'll use a small word here. Okay, I'll do something. Yeah, just coming to the next slide. Okay, fine. Now you can observe what is happening. So if I write here PE, it is getting the padding from the right side. Okay, not from the other side. So this is how you can use the padding utility. Now, now let me show you something more interesting. You can have PX5. So what is the meaning of PX? That is the x-axis. X-axis means from the left and right, you want padding 5. Okay, not from the top and bottom, from the left and right, X. Okay, so it will get both the padding from both the sides, that is left and right. Okay, in the same way we have PY, that means top and bottom together. Okay, not from the left and right, only from the top and bottom. So this is how the padding class works, P class works. Okay, so fine, the same things apply for margin as well. So let me create something and let's see how this margin will work. So let me apply. So this Bootstrap is awesome division is in the between, is in between hey I am back and how to use spacing utilities. So I'll apply the margin to this element. Okay, so let me show you. So here shadow was there. Okay, fine. So I can use m-1. So what will happen? It will get some margin. Just see. So it has got some margin, but it is very less. It has got some margin. Can you see at the from all sides it has got some margin? Okay, just like that we'll have we'll increase the margin now. So m1, m2, so it will get more margin now. Okay, in the same way m3 will have more margin, then m4 is more, and m5 is the highest. Okay, so this is the highest margin an element can have in Bootstrap. Okay, fine. In the same way what we did for padding, mt5 will give you only from the top, mb5 will give you only from the bottom, ms5 will give you only from the left, and me5 will give you only from the right. Okay, and mx will give you from the left and right. From my will give you from the top and bottom. Okay, so this padding and margin class utilities are very important, because we need it in every element. Every web page we will need this margin and padding. Okay, fine. So that is all about spacing. Now we have a small thing left, that is, so we have already seen the text alignment, isn't it? For text we have already seen the text alignment. Now let me show you something called the text transform. So we in CSS we have text transform. What are those? Why are those text transform used? They are used for changing the case, that is uppercase, lowercase, and all those things. Okay, so let's see how this text transform classes are used in Bootstrap. So now you can see what is the case of this. This is in first letter is capital and rest are small, but again in between one capital is coming. Okay, so let me try to that is called let me try to convert the whole sentence into small letters, that is lowercase. I don't want this b to be capital, h to be capital. Okay, so what I do is, what is this line, how to use? Okay, so here what I do is I write text lowercase. Okay, if I use text lowercase, see, everything has become lowercase. Okay, in the same way I can use text uppercase. So what will happen here? Everything is in uppercase now. And one more thing is there, that is known as text capitalize. Let's see. So here what is happening? Every word is having the first letter as capital. Okay, so this is how text transform classes work. Okay, fine. Now I hope we have seen a lot of basic utilities today. So I think this is enough, but we'll see some advanced utilities tomorrow. But there is something else in Bootstrap. Those are known as helpers. These helpers are sometimes more useful than these utilities. Why? I'll show you. For example, we had this. So for this, hey, I am back, what did I use? Or for this, how to use spacing utilities, what did I use? I used two classes, bginfo and text white, isn't it? bginfo, what it is doing, it is giving a light blue background, and text white is giving the text white. If I don't use text white, the text will be black and it may not look nice, isn't it? So that kind of things we are doing. Suppose let me change this bginfo to bg success. Okay, so here it is looking like this. Okay, so we are using two classes for these things. Okay, so now let's see what are helpers. Helpers are more easier than utilities in some cases, not everywhere, But for a small example like this, we don't need to use two different classes. We can have one class for applying the background and text white as. Okay, so let's see the basic Bootstrap helpers. Okay, so yeah, so what we were doing is we were using BG success and text white, isn't it? Now there is something called, let me write here, instead of so I'll not change this. Let me create another h2. I'll use the same h2 and paste it here. Okay, and same, so I'll change the background. Let's say instead of BG success, I'll remove these two parts, and text capitalize, I'll remove this class as well. Okay, but I'll write a different class here. So the class is text hyphen BG hyphen warning. Not, let's not say warning, let's say danger. Okay, text BG danger. So what is happening here? We are applying both these classes. We are combining these two classes and making one class and applying it here. Okay, but the problem with these helpers is it cannot here I can use text white, text dark, text anything, isn't it? But I can't do that anything here. It is preset, it is predefined that for danger background the text color will be this. Okay, so let me show you how this is looking like. So it is looking like this. Okay, I'm not applying text white, but text white is getting applied on its own. Okay, so for text primary, that means blue, primary, secondary, success and danger, and dark. Okay, 5 backgrounds, these 5 backgrounds: primary, secondary, success, danger, warning and dark. Let me show you. So I wrote here danger. Let me write here primary, text BG primary. Again it is getting white text. Text BG secondary. Again it is getting white text on its own. I am not doing anything. Then the text BG success is getting white font. And then text BG danger we have already seen. Text BG warning is also getting, oh, warning is not getting, sorry, not about warning. After danger we have dark. So text BG dark is also getting white color by default. So these 5 colors, 5 color background colors will get a white font by default. But if I write here warning, which is a light color, so for warning we will not get white font. It will assign the black font by default. Okay, in the same way another thing is info, that is the light blue color. So light blue color also it will get black text. So what Bootstrap is doing is for dark colored backgrounds, it is automatically assigning white font, and for light colored backgrounds, it is automatically assigning black font. Okay. So let's say another we have BG light, which is a light gray color background. Again, it is giving black text. Okay. So this is how they automatically apply the font color according to the background using these helpers. Okay, so helpers can be useful in some places like this situation where we were using 2 different classes. Instead of that, they are having one class which is helping us to write it in a better way. Okay, so this is what background color helper is. Okay, then after background color, yeah, so we can have some now we'll see some links. Okay, you know, anchor tags are there, isn't it? So we'll create some anchor tags. So after this h2, let me have an anchor tag. Href equal to something like, okay, we'll put a link, don't worry. And here let me write link 1. Okay, I'll have a lot of links. Okay. Now, how are these links looking like? They're coming here. Okay. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me put these links at the top so that we can see properly. So just after the paragraph, I'll put it. Yeah. Okay. So these links are all coming here and all are blue in color. Hey, too many links are there. Yeah. Okay. Now these links are all blue in color, but we can customize their color as well. Okay. So the same thing we need to do. Link primary will give you blue color, but you can't see the difference because by default all links are having primary color only. So let me write here. So link secondary, link success, link danger, link warning, and one more we can have link info, just like that. Okay. So now you can see they are having different colors. Okay. So this way you can color the links as well. Different links you can show in different colors. Okay. This is also a different helper. Okay. Now coming into links, we can have some more, can have some different type of things as well. Okay. Let me do one thing. Okay. So, okay, fine. For links, this is enough. We'll see some more advanced links in the advanced helpers. Okay. So, and one more thing is left. That is something called text truncation. Okay. Let me show you what is text truncation. First, let's see what is the problem we have without text truncation. So let me create a div. Okay. Let me create a div, something like this at the end, or let me put it in between. Let me see where it will be better. Okay. Just after Bootstrap is awesome, I'll put a div. Okay. So just after this, I'll put a div. Inside this div, I'll have some text. Okay. I'll put some class to this div. Let's say class is maybe v1. v1. Okay, fine. v1 is fine. So we'll have some text here. Okay. So we'll just copy some text from here. Yeah. Okay. I'll just copy this text and put it in the v1. Okay. Now let's see how this div is looking like. It is looking like this, just plain text. Okay. Now to this v1, let me apply some styles. Okay. Oh, we don't need to apply styles. We already know Bootstrap, isn't it? So we'll just try those. So border, danger. Is it getting applied? Yes. Then I want some margin bottom, that is 4. I got some margin bottom. Then I want some padding as well. Padding 3. What happened? Padding is not getting applied. Oh, sorry. P3. P3. Okay. So we got some margin, padding, and that thing as well. Border as well. We can apply some background color as well. So BG. So I'll apply the same border the thing. Okay, I'll put BG warning. Okay, fine. So it is having a border danger and the font color is black and this all these things. Okay, now what will happen? Let me try to change the width of the div. Okay, so let me put W25. What will happen now? Can you see when I went for W25, it got resized, but the text has come down, isn't it? But this is not always the case. I don't want the height to change. Okay, so I'll show you some examples. Let me show you what I want to achieve here actually. So text truncate. I want something like this. Okay, if the line is very long, I don't want the line to come down. Okay, I just want to show some dot 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 and hide the extra part. Okay, if I reduce the width, it should not show me the whole sentence. The width should be fixed, height should be fixed, only dot 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 will be shown if the line is very long. If the line is very short, then it is okay. If the line is very long, it should show me dot dot dot. So how do I achieve that? Okay, so that can be achieved using text truncate. Okay, so let me show you. So I have applied a width 25. So what about width 50? There also it will be shown. Yeah, so the line is coming below. Now let me write something here along with this W25 W50. Let me write text truncate. Okay, if I use text truncate, what will happen? See, the height is again normal. It has become normal, but the extra things are shown using dot dot dot. Okay, so this is how text truncate can be useful. Suppose you have an e-commerce application like Flipkart, Myntra or something. You are showing the products and you don't want to show everything there. Suppose some long text is there. You can put it like this. Okay. So this way you can. So again here what is happening? I wrote the bootstrap, but this bootstrap word is coming here. So you can use text truncate here. So let me apply text truncate there. So where is that? How to use spacing utility? So this is BG success, right? So in this BG success, text capitalize. Yeah, I'll put here text truncate. Okay, save it. Go to the browser, and you can see the height is now same. So the height is not changed, and it has some dot 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 at the end. Okay, so this is known as text truncating. Okay, okay then. That's all for today. This is for why only 3 dots? So that is just default. We write three dots. That is set by default. We can't change it. I mean, they could have used 2 dots also. That is not a problem. But that doesn't have any reason. Okay, that is just 3 dots are just by default. You can put 4 dots, 5 dots, whatever you want, but Bootstrap has kept it as 3 dots. Okay. Okay. So today what we saw how to add Bootstrap to your project. We saw containers. We saw container and container fluid. Then we saw headings and paragraphs. What changes are there in headings and paragraphs? Like margins are removed, top margin is removed, only bottom is kept. Then we saw some display headings. Then paragraph lead, we applied the class lead. Then we saw text align. Then we saw some basic utilities like background, then text color, then border, display, float, opacity, shadow, sizing, spacing, and text transform. And we saw some basic helpers like color and background together, how to apply color and background together. Then we saw colored links, isn't it? We saw colored links, how to do this kind of thing. Then we saw the text truncation. Okay. Okay, that's it for today. We'll go into advanced utilities, helpers, grids, forms, components tomorrow. Okay. Okay, then we'll end the session.